Hi everyone, John here. I've had a few questions recently asking how I get my sound when I record, so I thought I'd make a quick video on it. Now, I don't use any amps at all. I could mic up an amp, but it can take a while to check the levels and get all the sound, and then of course you've got to record fairly loud to get something decent, and my neighbours wouldn't like that, so I always use amp simulators. And I'm going through this thing. Can you see this? I'll show you another picture. It's an Apollo twin interface, and this has some amps as plugins you can get, and reverbs and everything else, and they sound just great. And it's a lot easier to do that than use a real amp. So I'm going to show you what's going on in the room, and then I'll cut to the audio interface. So let me put my headphones on here. Right, so this is what is happening in the room. So in the virtual world, it sounds like this. So what's happening here is my guitar is being plugged into the audio interface, and then I'm adding these plugins, one of which is a Fender 1955 amp, and then I've added some room sound with another plugin called Ocean Waves Studio, which makes it sound like a room. And then the last thing I've done is added some plate reverb, so if you kind of listen to that sound again, so it sounds more like an amp in the room. So when I have done all that, the last thing I need to do is export the audio file, that's the sound from the Apollo, and then I synchronize it with the video file on the top. So when you put the two together, you hear the processed guitar sound. But to everyone else, it's totally silent in the room, but when you've recorded it, it sounds really great. You hear, by the way, you hear that process sound as you're playing, and you can wear the headphones just as I'm doing now. It sounds really great. And this Apollo is absolutely fantastic for the amp simulations. But there's lots of other ones. You know, there's Fractal Audio, which is really good, and there's that Neural DSP one, which is just about to come out, that quad cortex it's called. That looks really good, so I'm quite tempted to try that. I did on some of these videos, I also did try the Strymon Iridium. That sounds really great too. But you know, there's just hundreds of amps, you can go through hundreds of effects, and you know, it's not as expensive as buying real equipment, and you can play quietly, and to me it sounds great. It's got all the dynamics there. The only thing you don't get for YouTube enthusiasts out there is you don't get the air moving. So you get the sound, but it doesn't really replace if you had a amp in a room and you're really going for it and it's turned up loud and you can feel that air moving and the power of it. You don't get that, but you do get a fantastically recorded guitar sound. So there we go. Hope that helps. See you in the next video.